What's up, poker people at YouTube? Welcome back to the Voting Vlogs. Happy Friday, but for you guys, it's a Monday, obviously, for my regularly uploaded schedule. Let's get straight to the vlog and play some poker. See you guys inside. So, welcome back to the vlog. In this one, we buy into the 1-3 no limit hold'em at TCH Houston for $1,000. And in the first hand, we look down at ace queen offsuit under the gun. The button straddle is on. Small blind, big blind limp, we make it $40, and only the small blind calls. Heads up to flop, which is ace 10, 5, 2 hearts, and a diamond. Small blind now donk leads out for $15, super small. We're obviously going to raise it here for $60. We assume that he's going to be just betting out with a lot of ace X here or hearts, and he's going to continue when we raise. But unfortunately, the small blind just folds, and we have a weird start to this one, but we take down the early pots. Moving right along after that one, we have pocket sevens. In the +1, we open for $15. The +2 now makes it $45. We go ahead and make the call looking to set mine. Flop comes king 6-6 rainbow. We go ahead and check. The +2 bets $70. I think he's going to have a lot of ace king or something like that here. So if we hit our set, we have a lot of implied odds to continue and just get the rest of the money. So we're going to go ahead and call one street and see what happens on the turn. And if he doesn't have a king, he should be slowing down a lot of the time. So he just has showdown value with sevens against a lot of things like ace queen, ace jack. The turn brings the 2 of spades, however, and we go ahead and check it. +2 now continues for $100. This is obviously an easy fold at this point, but he shows he has pocket queen. So very surprising for him to continue on the turn, as he should only be getting called by betters, things like king jack, ace king. So it's a very ambitious bet here to get called by worse, and I guess he just was targeting me because sometimes I guess I'll get stubborn and call with a pocket pair there, but not in this one. And then in the immediate next hand, we look down at pocket threes in the small blind. The button straddle is on. We go ahead and make it $25. Only the button calls. We're sitting about $1,000 effective in this hand. The flop comes queen, 6, 3. 2 spades on the diamond. We flop bottom set. Bingo. We go ahead and down bet for $20. Continuing with the majority of our range here, the button now raises to $80. And I could just flat here, but given that it's such a wet board with spades, we can still get value from things like king, queen, queen, jack, as well as spades draw. So we elect to min click here for $140. It's a legal raise because the raise was from 20 to 80. That's a $60 difference. So our raise just has to be $60 more. And we do just that, min clicking to $140. It's super enticing. It also looks really strong, of course. The button elects to make the call. Turn now heads up ace of spades. So the front door spades do get there. We can't just give up and just be chicken here. We're going to go ahead and elect to continue for $180, working as a block bet. We don't really mind the raise here. We're fine getting it in given that we still have boat outs. So 10 outs, 3 to fill up, and then 1 for quads. So it's not the worst if he goes ahead and raises or jams on us, but this definitely works as a blocker bet, continuing to get value from things like queen X or maybe even 2 pair 6-3 or queen 6, ace 6, ace queen, whatever it might be. The button, however, now tank folds, and he would later tell us that he had just a gutter ball and he was trying to do us dirty, but we're happy to take this one down and start the session off to a really good start. Hopefully continuing the good start and good juju along, we have ace jack offsuit into the +1. We open for $15. The button makes the call. Heads up to flop, which comes queen 9-9 rainbow. We go ahead and c bet this one for $25, and the button makes the call once again. Turns to be queen of spades, so it's a double paired board. We have ace high. We go ahead and just check, given that we have some showdown value. Could probably block bet here, but we're only going to get called by better a lot of times, as well as chops, and it just puts us in a weird bloated spot on the river. Button checks back. River's 3 clubs, and we go ahead and bet $35. Block bet basically if we get raised and we can fold, but we can sometimes maybe get called by a king X that just doesn't believe us. The button does in fact call, and we chop versus ace 10 offsuit. This one we have pocket 10s under the gun. We go ahead and open for $15, and we get 5 callers. So very Texas-like here. Flop comes ace 5 deuce, 2 clubs and a dime. We're basically done with this hand given that it's multi-way. So multi-way in Texas, and it checks to the +1 who bets $40, and we fold. On to the next one. Looking down at ace queen offsuit in the big blind, undergun straddle is on. Hijack cutoff button all limp to 6. We go ahead and pop it up to $40, and only the under the gun calls. Heads up to flop, which comes 9-4-4 rainbow. We elect to just c-bet going $35. Don't have to go big, and the undergun somehow folds. And then in the next one, we look down at ace king of spades in the small blind. Button style is on once again. We open for $38. Only the cutoff calls. Heads up to flop, which comes queen, 10, deuce, rainbow. We flop a gutter ball to Broadway. With our two overs, we're going to c-bet once again, just like in the previous hand, for $25. The cutoff calls. Turns the 9 of hearts, and now we can just polarize our hand. We still have two overs and a gutter ball. Probably better suits to do this with, but we go for $125, a pot-sized bet, and the cutoff somehow folds. So nice one to steal here. We now look down at Jack 10 of clubs, and the big blind, the button style is on. We go ahead and open for $25, only the hijack calls. Flop comes queen 8, 7, rainbow. We flop a gutter ball to the queen high straight. We elect to c-bet for $20, and the hijack folds. Looking at a really pretty hand, it's queen jack of hearts in the cutoff. The hijack opens $15. We call, the button calls, and the big blind calls. Four players to flop, which comes king, jack, 6, 2 spades in a club. The big blind checks. Hijack c-bets for $25. We're going to call here with second pair, of course. And now the button makes it $100. Big blind folds, hijack folds, and it gets back to us. This is just an easy fold for us, unfortunately. We get out of the way, and on to the next one. Look down at a monster in this one. It's pocket kings, the Cowboys, under the gun. We open for $15. The short stack, who's in the hijack with $145 effective, makes it $50. And then it gets to the small blind, who, interestingly enough, now just flats. I want to min click it so the pot is reopened if the short stack jams. So I make it $75. It's a $25 increase from the $15 to $50 raise. So it's a legal bet from $50 to $75. Unfortunately, though, the hijack only flats. But then there's some really good news. The small blind now raises to $225. We elect to just jam, covering the small blind for $600 effective. The hijack goes all in for $145, and the small blind now tanks. He ends up making the call. Here's the run out and the results as the small blind elects to only go once all the time. Pretty sick, cooler situation here as we look down at kings versus queens versus jacks, and the run out's crazy. So as the camera focuses, we end up hitting a 4-liner straight with 9, 10, jack, queen. The queens flop a set on us. The jacks get a set on the river, but it's no good as it gives us the 4-liner to the straight. So we somehow get bailed out of that one, even though we did have the best hand pre-flop. And then in the flop, we were drawing to 2 outs or that runner. Lucky enough for us, we get there. And this next one, we have ace king offsuit in the small blind. Low jack opens for $25. This is an easy 3-bet to $60. Only the low jack calls. Heads up to a flop, which comes queen, 8, 4, 2 clubs and a spade. Don't want to just barrel here with ace high, so you go ahead and check, and the low jack checks back. Turns the 9 of diamonds. We go ahead and check. Low jack now bets $100, and we just fold this one. Have a little PLO hand here, intermission for you guys. Single suited aces. We end up getting this one all in pre-flop against, I believe it's ace, king, king, single suited for about $300, $400 all in pre. And yeah, our 9-5 ends up hitting a boat, weirdly enough. So ace is never lucky, but we end up scooping this one with our danglers. Ace is good in PLO, so how about we try them in Hold'em? We look down at aces in the cutoff, the +2 limps. We make it $20. The big blind calls and the +2 calls as well. 3 players to a flop, which comes 9, 8, 5, 2 diamonds and a spade. We don't have the ace of diamonds, of course, as we have 2 black aces, and it checks us. I elect to just check this one back. The big blind's a very action player. He's going to have a lot of 2-pair here a lot of time, or weird straights. And if he does it, he's just going to fold. And I'm not really sure what the +2 could be limp calling with here, so I like to just kind of play this one slow, underrepresenting our hand. Turns the deuce of spades now, bringing the backdoor spades in. The big blind checks, and the plus town now bets $40. I'm going to just pot control and underrepresent our hand still here, so I like to just call. We're only going to get called by better, like sets and 2 pairs, so no reason to raise here. The big blind calls as well. 3 players to the river, which is the 6 of clubs, bringing the 4-liner with a straight. Any 7 makes a straight here. The big blind checks, and the +2 now bets $125. The front door diamonds miss, the back door spades miss, and the only thing that really beats us are sets, 2 pairs, and straights, and we've underrepresented our hand to this point, so we're just going to have to make the crying call here. The big blind folds, and I'm expecting to see a set here a lot of times, but the +2 instead has 7-3 spades, so he limp called with this huge gapped suited hand and somehow just gets there on the river. But We're going to try to play patient and get this player back and get our money back.
Diamonds right here. That's a shot. Oh, look at the diamond. How many diamonds? Diamond. You got 4 diamonds.
So we wait and wait and wait, and that player that gets us with the 7-3 of spades gets a friend of ours for almost a 1.6k pot, and this immediate next hand that he stacks our friend, we looked at pocket aces under the gun, and he's on the button straddle. We go ahead and make it $40. This guy likes to call with 7-3 of spades, so he's probably going to call our raise here while he's on the button straddle. Funnily enough, the +2 calls, the low jack calls, and now it's on the guy with the 7-3 of spades. He tanks and makes it $200 as he's still stacking up chips from the previous hand. We look at his stack, he's 1.6, 1.7k effective, so a jam here would be way too ambitious and would just fold a lot of his worst hands. So we're going to have to make the 4-bet here and just play post flop with these aces. We go for a sizing of $500, a bit of a 2.5x, right? The button just won a huge hand, so we're just going to try to have to play post flop with this guy and get the other players out of the way if he does have a big hand. The +2 and low jack do fold like I thought, and the button now tank calls. Heads up to this flop now, which is 10, 7, deuce, rainbow. It's almost a $1,200 pot, and he has about 1.2k effective after winning the previous hand. So I elect to just jam. Of course, we can down bet here, played standard. I think I would do something like $350, $400 in a standard C bet, but because this player is so call happy, I think, and just a calling station, given the 7-3 of spades, I think I just get him to call off with jacks and queens, kings a lot of the time if he has those hands. And if he's not, then he's just going to fold anyways. I don't think he's calling that $500 raise with something like tens. And even 9s and 8s are just going to fold regardless. So we go ahead and make the jam, and the button does, in fact, make the tank call, throwing in 1 chip to signify a call. We run it twice, and we hold against whatever he had. I assume it's probably kings or queens. And yeah, we're able to get our money back and get a huge profit off in this session.
Only me too. Can I have water?
Oh man, it feels good to win a pretty big session in 1-3 Hold'em here in Houston. Yeah, in the game for 1,000 in a 1-3 Hold'em, out of the game for 3,121. That is a net profit of $2,121. That's 700 big blinds in a regular 1-3, but this is Texas, so it's just kind of an average day. I wouldn't say average, rather, but anywhere between 500 to 1,000 is usually an average day of a win here, or loss possibly at Houston. Obviously, it was really good that we had aces there and we got paid off against the same player who called off and cracked our aces with 7-3 suited. We did lose a PLO hand immediately after that aces with aces double suited, ace, king, 7 all in pre-flop, so it is what it is, but still a very good day. And it's always good to have sessions like this where you get reaffirmed that you're not a terrible player. I'm not going to say I'm like a great player or anything, but I definitely don't think I'm the worst player in the world. And it's nice to have winning sessions like this where you just confirm that you're not the worst in the world, because just came off a tournament where I was a 62% favorite, lost that, and wasn't able to make it deep in that tournament. But we have the main next week for champions, which by the time this vlog comes out, it'll already be over. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we run good and manifest it, and then this vlog will release and you guys will know that I'm a much bigger winner by the time this vlog comes out. But it is what it is, and we continue to grind, play cash, play tournaments, keep our heads up high, vibes positive for the most part, try to keep that good positive energy and frequencies, as my friend says, and we just keep grinding. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I wish you guys really good luck on the felt. See ya. Peace.